I Got Greenlit podcast. As always, I am your co-host, Sam Levine, and I am joined by my co-host, the creator of the Project Greenlight series, writer, director, Alex Keledjian. Alex, how are you today?
I'm great. How you doing?
I'm good, man. I feel good that we saw a good movie, in my opinion. I think we saw a good movie for this week, but it took you a little convincing. So my question is, when it comes to this movie, was I right?
Well, so I walked out of the theater and I went to the men's room, and of course it's always, full after a big, long movie, 2.5-hour movie. And this guy yells out from one of the stalls, I know it was a good movie. I didn't like it.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, in that case, we should tell you what it is. It was Marty Supreme.
Hello?
Hey, it's Marty Mauser. I'm in the Royal Suite. I saw you in the lobby yesterday.
Okay.
Well, I never talked to an actual movie star. I'm something of a performer, too.
Are you?
Yeah, you don't believe me? You what? What? You got the Daily Mail in front of you?
This is you?
Yeah, the chosen one. It's a nice picture, right?
I have a purpose. And if you think that's some sort of blessing, it's not. It means I have an obligation to see a very specific thing through. And with that obligation comes sacrifice.
Everything in my life's falling apart, but I'm gonna figure it out.
Do you need any help? I could help you.
I know it's hard to believe, but I'm telling you, this game, it fills stadiums overseas. And it's only a matter of time before I'm staring at you from the cover of a Wheaties box.
I'm not trying to control you, Marty.
It's unacceptable! It's unacceptable!
But I don't think you understand the stakes. You have no power here.
What do you plan to do if this whole dream of yours doesn't work
That
out?
doesn't even enter my consciousness. Now look at this, an orange ball, which no one's ever thought of. See, you're already following it way better. Look at his eyes. You're looking more engaged now.
Buddy, custom ball like that is gonna cost a lot of money.
Of course it's custom. It's original ball for an original guy. It's a Marty Supreme ball, not the Marty normal ball.
Yeah.
My feeling, man, is that I liked it. I didn't think it was the best movie ever. I'm not even sure it was art, but I'm okay with that. Like, I'm always okay with a movie that is striving for good and is entertaining and is doing interesting things. And at the end of the day, man, like, I liked Marty Supreme. I walked out of there a happy guy.
It was definitely a ride, and it definitely he has his own world going on. So I like that. It definitely has the aspects of the kind of high octane, high adrenaline movies of Good Times Hard Times.
Good Time.
Good Time and Uncut Gems. And I actually am a big fan of Uncut Gems. And it almost feels like the Adam Sandler character as a younger man, Uncut Gems, like building the gem empire, Yeah. It's the same kind of fast talking. And by the way, like, let me just say this ahead of time, Jewish, like this is a Jewish story.
Yeah.
And I like that because I think I like when filmmakers are kind of like owning their ethnicity and like bringing their personal, you can tell there's a lot of personal anecdotes from their life. Like the whole POW, what do you call it? The
POV?
No. There's at one point there's an anecdote to a concentration.
Oh yeah, that's the best part of the whole movie. The POW
Yeah,
story.
yeah. Everybody loves that, and that I'm not sure,
It's
but
actually
it
a Holocaust
feels
story. It's not even a POW story. It's a story about him, a guy in a concentration camp.
Auschwitz.
Yeah.
It's an Auschwitz story. The guy's a survivor. He tells a tale.
Not Marty.
And I don't want to spoil it. No, I don't want to spoil it, but it's pretty intense, and it's what everybody's come away with. Like, wow, what a. And that's what I mean. These guys do intensity filmmaking, right? Like it's very like gets you going, you know, and they create sort of a barreling effect through their films. You know, he's always barreling from one misadventure to another.
Yeah.
So it's interesting too. This is a brother movie. The Safdies work together, brothers work together. Now one did The Smashing Machine and one now is doing Marty Supreme. And it's interesting to see they're both sports movies about kind of underdog type characters in lesser known sports, right?
Only one is boring.
So that's the thing is you see when the brothers break up, you sort of see who brought what to the party. Like, did you see the Coen, what did he do? Macbeth?
Oh yeah. Joel Coen's always been the director.
Right.
And Ethan Coen's never been the director. I mean, I think it's kind of, to me, it's like Trey Parker, Matt Stone. Matt Stone is necessary to Trey Parker, but Trey Parker is the creative genius.
Yeah. Yeah. There's always you know, in a partnership, it's always that thing. I always try to say it's like there's the power source and the engine. And I'm sure like Matt Stone was the one sitting there at the laptop while what's his name was pacing the room, like throwing a cush ball at the ceiling, right? Yeah, then smash cut to.
A good friend of mine once said, in every marriage, there's a personality hire and someone who understands insurance.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, and I think that's what a duo or a dyad it is in a lot of things, but in a director's case, it's sort of like you have a built-in sounding board because the director is the loneliest job, right? So when you have a brother, it's like you can huddle and be like, I don't know what to do. Just do a wide shot. You'll get warmed up, you know. You're always jealous of that. I never had a brother, and I'm always jealous of the brother directors. I mean, the Coens are one of the best ever, one of my favorites. The Wachowskis, you know, they have that special bond. They've done a few solo things, but
brothers and sisters.
Right, exactly.
They did both.
Family. But what I'm saying is the duo, right? It doesn't.
Sure.
I'm not even. This is a genderless like conversation. It's
sure.
like a trusted blood relative that will have your back. Because like in this business, kid. I mean, like in any business, you know, in adulthood and when money's on the line, you know, you don't necessarily have blood level loyalty. You know, but I feel like a brother, you know, or a sister is the ultimate trusted advisor or partner, or, you know, you do this and I'll do this. And, you know, you could say like, it's interesting that James Cameron married Gail Ann Hurd because she was a very effective producer for him. It's like they made sweet music together, you know. So you always want that because it's lonely. You're sitting there, there's, you know, 100 people staring at you like, what's next, boss? And you're like, I don't know. You know, so that's something cool about it. But, and I like this movie more. There's a lot going on. He's really trying for something. It was definitely the march of is that who I think it is?
I
casting?
love that. We'll get into stunt casting later.
Right. I mean, they're
the kings of it.
So,
the kings.
Yeah. And I get the choice, but I did not like the 80s, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? Synchronous music to it was a 1952 story, and the soundtrack was like 80s kind of pop classics.
Yeah, it was kind of like Stranger Things almost. In terms of
so I didn't like that. I would have rather him do like the dun 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 dun, because that kid has that sort of jitterbug quality. Yeah. Like he left something on the table. You could do crazy, energetic sort of 52 music that's like almost rock and roll but not quite for your energy, you know. But I don't know what that was. I don't know if that's like an A24 note, like can you add more neon and like purple colors and like some 80s synth soundtrack because it's on brand for us.
But they did that in Uncut Gems though. They did the exact same thing in Uncut Gems. In fact, something I was going to say about this movie is I call this feel-good Uncut Gems. Like, it's got that same frenetic pace, but at the end of the day, it sort of has you could interpret it
it's a feel-good. I think that's a great, I mean, but what we're saying is like, I like and don't like when a director gets a style and a rhythm. Because look at Scorsese, like after a while, you're like, make something different. Like break out of the norm, come back to it, but like go do something completely different than what we know you for.
What about Wes Anderson?
Many would argue that he's like boxed himself in at this point.
His last film, The Phoenician
By the way, I
Scheme-
mean literally.
Yeah, I know, right?
You know, like
Yeah.
it's
Yeah, his last film, The
like
Phoenician
a
Scheme.
painter should like
Yeah,
try something different every 10 years, you know?
yeah. So back, I was gonna say The Phoenician Scheme was the first time I thought to myself, I'm a little sick of this style, but for the most part, I like Wes Anderson. My question for you is, did you feel like this movie was missing something as the result of one of the Safdie brothers not being a part of it?
Honestly, no.
Me neither.
No, to be honest. And I don't know which brother is which, and I'm not here to point fingers. This movie was good.
I'm here to point fingers.
And I think like it could have been great. It wasn't great. It was too long. I think that he could have really told a great story. He wants that frenetic energy, then reward us for like doubling our heart rate, like get in and out in 110.
Yeah.
You know, and it was 2.5 plus. So at a certain point, you know, one guy was asleep in my row. I'm just saying.
Oh, wow. I'm
Yeah.
surprised.
Yeah.
So what did you think about Timmy? Because this is very much, I mean, like, Timothy Chalamet might be the
Timmy.
last of the movie stars. Like, he really is a movie star, and he is...
Not quite. He's still like
he's
underfed.
close. All right, so
Yeah.
he's the closest we've had for anyone who's under 30 years old. Like, we're really not getting... I don't think Austin Butler can get a movie financed the way that Timothy Chalamet can.
Oh, are we talking about dollars and cents, guy?
Dollars and cents plus like talent. I'll be honest, I like Timothy Chalamet. Like, I'm on board. I like him. What do you think?
He's going for like the Johnny Depp thing a little bit, like the Romeo, like the oddball, I think, which is smart. This guy was an unlikable character, and you know, Chalamet was a producer, so I think it was one of those things where he was a fan of their stuff, and they hooked up, and he's like, yeah, I'll go for it. Like, I'll go for it. Because Sandler is also unlikable. Like, it's, again, the pattern is like unlikable, almost anti-hero level protagonist that you're following through scam after scam, lying to everyone in their life and manipulating everything around them. But we're still like rooting for them, you know? And then cast it with America's Sweethearts, right? So you have Sandler, who is a beloved sort of comedy icon, and the movie is not funny, and it's like they're bouncing off of his like screen persona. And the same thing with Chalamet, right? Like, I don't think he does a great bad guy. This is as close as he's done to a bad guy, and then they get the big redemption at the end. But I think this is a good role for him in this time frame. Like, he can still play the callow young man, you know, the cad. This is almost like an Alfie kind of guy, you know?
Yeah.
And and we like that because, again, Alfie being a son of a bitch, but looking like young Michael Caine, suave as all get out, right? So that's what I mean. It's like we as a culture have this like allowance for beautiful people to do bad things, and we almost kind of cheer them on, you know?
Yeah. I'll tell you something. Like, I was most excited for this movie to see Mr. Wonderful be an actor, because I like Shark Tank. I like Shark Tank. I watch Shark Tank on YouTube, right? And
all right, wait. So we going into casting because he'd be like top. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So I watch Shark Tank on YouTube. I think this guy, he's a Canadian millionaire. He's not a Canadian billionaire. I believe he's just a millionaire. He's very entertaining on the show, and he plays the antagonist.
Well, he's the Simon Cowell, right? Just for people who don't know,
right?
He's the tough talking like bad boy of the he's the Simon Cowell. You have
but
to
he's
have
also charming. He calls himself Mr. Wonderful.
No, I know, but I'm saying he's the rogue, right? Like the three panel is always like, you know, basically the three bears, right? It's like too soft, too hard, just right.
Right.
You know, and he's the too hard.
Yeah. I think he's really good in this movie, man. Like, I
think he's great. And awesome. it goes to like, find the guy, have like coffee with him, see what he's like, and be like, yes, you're exactly the arrogant dick that would call himself Mr. Wonderful. Can you please do this with glasses on and an old suit. Yes.
And he makes choices. I've often thought that whenever I watch non-actors act, that something they like to do is try to not make choices because they're afraid if they do, they'll come off looking silly.
Yeah.
And the real actors make choices. And he's making choices in this movie. Like, he's actually acting. And he's not the only non-actor in this movie doing that.
No. And that's what I'm saying is I think it's also a mark of a good director when you use a lot of non-actors and they're indistinguishable from like an Oscar winner, like doing a scene with some hitter. Yeah. And it's like, no, it's just two chaps.
Yeah.
Like Friedkin would do that a lot. Like a lot of guys would do that a lot. And it's really great. And they pick the faces of kind of the atmosphere. Like think of like Jaws, all those guys on the dock, like, oh, what? Like those are just New England, like fishermen. It's like, say this, and by the way, Begonia, there's I think a special needs actor who's playing a special needs character.
Wait,
so it's like
in this movie?
No, in Begonia. I'm going to start. I'm going to start slowly slipping in Begonia fan notes into. I saw both of these movies within 24 hours. But go see Begonia. Okay. We'll call this one Marty Supreme, but just all right. End of commercial break. So Marty, the casting is delicious.
Yeah.
You've got Penn Jillette. Like, is that Penn Jillette?
That was Penn Jillette playing a redneck who stole a dog.
Fran Drescher. Is that Fran Drescher? Yes, it is. Like
she's
we did that
in my opinion. In my opinion, I'll tell you why.
She should have been. They should have swapped roles. Sandra Bernhard and her. Right.
I tell you why I think she's miscast. It's very simple. She plays a lower middle class Jewish mother, and she's had too much facial surgery. I mean, honest to God, like. A lower middle class woman would not have that much cosmetic surgery, and it honestly, threw me off.
Drew you out. It drew you out.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. It's just not logical. It's not that she's wrong for the role, but her face is. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry if that comes off a certain way.
Yeah, you're throwing it out. I get it.
But that's how casting happens, and like. We have to, like, as a society, allow these women to age naturally because now it's affecting the performances.
I like that, what you're saying. And again, I would go back to like, I think of like Godfather 2 or 1, like there was a lot of locals casting in that. And even like for the, lot of family members, a lot of like people like, look at that face, look at that mug, get him in here,
Luca Brasi is the most famous.
Was a wrestler. And it's just like, Fred Roos would find these like oddballs, like the guy who played the dirty senator, that character actor in Godfather 2. Oh. I don't like your kind out here in this clean country.
I know the character, but who is he in life?
His name is Stradlin, and he was not an actor, and he had a face because he would just meet people and just go, you got to look, man. You ever act? And they're like, no. And they're like, well, come in anyway. And they rock. You know?
I mean, sometimes the magic of it is the non-actor because the guy who plays Luca Brasi was so nervous to do a scene with Marlon Brando that he couldn't get his lines out. But in the movie, they kept that take because it made the character seem in awe of the Godfather, hence proving his loyalty. It's like this guy's so loyal to him, he can barely get a word out in front of him.
Yeah, it was he couldn't learn his lines, and he was sitting looking at his sides and going – like reading it like that, and it was Coppola who's like, aha, like let's do that, like let's make him like he was rehearsing it and he it up, because he keeps rehearsing it and it up. They wrote it in like that, Coppola's great about that. I mean, that's to me is the mark of the writer director, he was for Godfather 2, he was the whole production, they were negotiating with Brando to come in for a cameo the whole time. So they're shooting for 4 months, and it's just like, he's coming. And that last scene where it's the surprise party, he's supposed to be in that scene. Yeah. And he couldn't get him. So the night before at 3 a.m., he wrote a new scene that was without him. So it's like you have to, I don't know how that works if you don't write your stuff, if you can't just react to the contingency that you have to.
Before I get on to the next bit of stunt casting, I knew that Mr. Wonderful was going to be good in the very first scene he's in when he walks in with the towel. He's not wearing his shirt, right? He's an older guy. It was just so naturalistic. He was like, "Where's my whatever?" He's like looking for a shirt or something.
That was the Hyman Roth move. It's kind of a power move. Like I don't give a. I have no vanity. My vanity's so huge, I have no vanity.
Yeah. So go ahead.
You can tell he worked out. I mean, he's in good shape for an older dude. So
I was going to say the opposite.
I think a guy like that, you just say, you're married to Gwyneth Paltrow. You're banging Gwyneth Paltrow. And he's like, oh, yeah? Okay, I'll do it. Like it's that easy, even though it's like a loveless marriage and it's sort of the centerpiece of like part of what Marty is afraid of commitment is like it always like kind of turns into this shit, right? Like families are dysfunctional and they're not to be trusted and he's not going to get nailed down. He's sort of like the manic Jewish George Bailey, like I got to get out of this town.
Right. So there's another bit of stunt casting in the movie. Marty works for this like shoe salesman, I guess, who's his uncle, but I'm not talking about the uncle. I think it's the uncle's son. This big fat guy who's like Marty's like number one.
No, that's So that's the kid. The kid is his friend, the big kid.
Yeah,
and because he's friends with him because his father is wealthy.
Okay,
and can fund the scheme.
Right. So
now I'm not sure how they met or how they're friends, but I know they're friends.
So that kid has so much confidence in Marty. He's like, Marty's going to be a big deal. We got to fund Marty. But
one of his people who he's convinced is bullshit. Yeah.
That actor's not an actor at all. He was a New York Knicks fan who had a viral video online for talking about how much the New York Knicks suck. He was saying, I think it's the Knicks. It's some New York sports team. And he was always saying like, he's like, they look like my father's dick. Not that I've ever seen my father's dick. And literally based off of that YouTube video, they cast him. It was just an interview on like local news, and he crushed it.
I love it. Going back to that, I just whatever you need, like just some people want the whole backstory and whatever, but like a good example would be think of like No Country for Old Men. Like I don't know the backstory of that woman when he walks into the trailer and she runs the trailer park, and he's like, "Hey, where's so and so?" And she's like, "We don't give out information about our residents, sir." That chick. She must have lived like across the street, and they're like, "Hey, what are you doing? Say these lines."
For all we know, she didn't know she was on camera.
It's just that. It's just, and that's the like.
Yeah.
You have a vision, but the director has to walk into the finished set or the more likely like the home that the location guy found and be like, "Oh, he's got to hold that prop." And you got to let the actors walk in the space and be like, "Can I just pick up this like paperweight and play with it?" See what happens,
So there's some more stunt casting. We already talked about Penn Jillette. His stunt casting's very little. Like he plays.
Well, it's against type, right?
Yeah.
He's the like, get off my lawn, Right. So you like that too, and it takes you a minute to sort of contextualize him, But for real film nerds, it's Abel Ferrara, director of Bad Lieutenant and King of New York, who plays basically like a gangster who entrusts his dog to Marty, and then Marty, of course, loses his dog, and it becomes a big thing. And Abel is a crazy person, like in real life. He's just a wild man. And the funny thing is, he's this like wild gangster in the movie, and yet it is the most normal I've ever seen Abel Ferrara be. I feel like guys like that kind of age like fine wine. Like I think now he's at the speed that you can actually like see him operate, right? Because I don't know if there's legends told by him about cocaine and this and that. I don't know if he's still on that trip, but like he's just kind of like grown into like the William Burroughs character he was always meant to be, basically, right? The Harry Dean Stanton, like they kind of just there's not a massive change. It's like, oh, you were always old, right? Like when you were 35 you looked 60, and now you look 60, and you're forever going to look 60. And you love that too for a character actor, right?
And Abel Ferrara, I want to give him some credit. I think he directed a perfect movie. I think Bad Lieutenant is a perfect movie.
I would go with King of New York. I like Bad Lieutenant a lot, but I think King of New York is a classic on like a Heat level.
Interesting.
It's like Yeah, I mean, it's a little dated with some of the action stuff, but like as far as the like Walken doing like a gangster role, it's amazing to watch. Unless like Harvey Keitel, like my dick, like it's what I mean.
I love Bad Lieutenant, man.
It's just to show you how old I am. When I moved into the dorm at NYU, when I went to film school, it was I walk out. It's on Union Square, and there's a movie being shot, and I'm like, I'm in New York, the big city, and there was a lot more production there. You would see sets a lot, and the Village and whatever. And it was Bad Lieutenant. Later, I come to find it was Bad Lieutenant. So I had just met my roommates. We're walking out as a group to like go get pizza, somewhere in the neighborhood. Walking around, we see it. We see Harvey Keitel.
Yeah.
Now this kid, who I was my new roommate, just met him like 2 hours ago. He yells to Harvey and he goes, "Hey, why'd you get fired from Apocalypse Now?"
Oh my god! I think he said because he like wouldn't be. No, it wasn't Apocalypse. No, it wasn't Apocalypse Now. Was it a Kubrick film?
No, Harvey Keitel. Well, that's a second story. So they shot with Harvey Keitel for like 2 months in the Philippines. Like there's wide shots.
Okay.
Of the boat it's Harvey Keitel, and the story was he was doing Harvey Keitel. I'm in the jungle, and Coppola was like, "No, just gentle. Like just be passive. I need to project more on you. You're being too specific and sort of like intense." Is basically how he described it. So he fired him. And he brought in Sheen, and you can see how Sheen is not intense. Sheen is like just sort of like in a daze almost, right?
Yeah.
And that's what he wanted. He wanted to project onto a blank slate was the, kind of protocol. So anyway, that they parted, and then he did years later, he did Eyes Wide Shut, and he was this Sidney Pollack character. Yeah. And he, after an 80th take at the pool table, he's like, "I give up. F you. I quit. I'm out of here. I don't need this shit." And they brought in Sidney Pollack, and they had to reshoot all that stuff.
I think that's totally justified, by the way. Kubrick's my favorite director ever. I hate the 80 takes. I think it's so stupid.
I was watching something about Social Network, and the actors were like, "Look, I get it." Like they drank the Kool-Aid. It's kind of funny when you have like a director.
But they were young. Like, they were young.
Yeah, maybe.
Young and hungry. Keitel was established. I think it's dumb. I think the 80 takes thing
it was
dumb.
like it was definitely from the place of I don't have to put up with this shit anymore. I'm Harvey Keitel.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, oh my God, I quit a Kubrick movie that was going to make my career. Absolutely not. Yeah. Okay. But I also think some actors do sign on to, and to their credit, they seek out a challenging experience as a work experience. Like, you're going to the dojo to learn the dragon fists from the master.
Right.
And as an actor, you can be like, okay, so Kubrick, how does he really work? What is he going to draw out of me that I can use for myself for later films and like get better from that relationship? You respect that's more of an actor that's like an athlete. Like I'm going to become an elite in this kind of movie, this kind of movie, this kind of like DiCaprio. I mean, people who want to work with the best directors, right? So I loved Abel Ferrara. I loved Sandra Bernhardt was the friend of the mom. We had Tyler,
the Creator
was the friend.
Yep.
And he was good.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean. Like this, so there's this whole like madcap quality to this that I'm not sure about. There was some tonal issues. His sequence kind of reminds me of it, right? Because they're having this fun adventure. Yeah, they have this fun adventure, and you see, Marty when he hits the wall, he goes and hustles ping pong out in the provinces, and his buddy has a car. There's always like a hustle and flow with this guy, and then he brings his friend in on it, and it's a two-man I love con artist stuff like that. I love hustler stuff. I mean, he said he did the movie because he loved The Hustler.
My favorite movie of all time is The Hustler. The Hustler is my favorite movie of all time, and I call this Uncut Gems meets The Hustler. I love pool halls.
Part's great. Oh yeah, the whole sweaty, like it's a bowling alley too. Like that
Yeah.
says the 50s to me more than a lot of the aspects of this.
There's more
You know?
stunt casting. The guy who works in the cage at the ping pong hall was a
Yes.
famous homeless guy with a golden voice. Did you notice that guy?
He has a face that
Yeah.
I had seen. I didn't know where.
He was a viral homeless guy with this like amazing broadcaster's voice, and like some guy recorded him on the streets, and then he got his life together, and people started giving him like narration jobs. Like this movie is just littered with great stunt casting. Let's move away from the stunt casting now. Let's talk a little bit about the movie for a second. I agree with you that one issue I have with movies where it's like good thing, bad thing, good thing, bad thing, good thing, bad thing, good thing, bad thing, is that
it's very anecdotal. This movie, it's like
it's also like a video game.
Rolling.
In a video game, you're constantly
it's like levels.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. What's that? It's like Scott Pilgrim.
Right.
The different bosses you have to get through. Yeah.
Right. And yeah, like these events are bosses for him. I like movies where events have more weight and they happen more rarely. But that being said, for me, this movie is still a really good time. I think it was shot on film, so I always give movies extra points for that.
Was it?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay.
Yeah.
It looks great. I mean, it was shot by a guy who knows his business, but it's Darius. Did you ever see Delicatessen?
No. Is it good?
Darius Kanji. I'm going to say his name wrong. Kandi or Kanji.
Mm-hmm.
He did Seven. He did Midnight in Paris. He did Delicatessen. He does that sort of. There's a richness that this film has, like sort of a dark saturation that I liked. But the thing for me was there's a lot of, as far as the cinematography goes, is there's a lot of close-ups. I wanted more of the environment. I think that it looked well appointed. I think sometimes maybe they had to limit their frame to kind of capture the limited like crowds or limited fake cars or whatever. There's not a ton of CG. I mean, there is, but it's like not calling attention to itself. But yeah, I just wanted more like blocking. There's close-up cut. I like when they're in an environment and there's a lot of the characters moving around and the camera sort of moving to capture them in vignettes. Spielberg does that a lot. They call oneers, but they're not as showy as like the one take going into the Copacabana in Goodfellas. It's more like you're in one environment and the camera has 3 stops along the way and you tell the whole scene. You don't have to have 16 cuts. You just go bang, 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 bang. And then Marty leaves the, shoe store or whatever. So that's just me saying like, I think TV has affected film directing a little bit. And I also think these guys want the intensity of the faces, but I would have liked a little more of like variety of shots.
I could not agree more. What do you think of Paltrow? Paltrow is I find her to be a very unlikable person in real life. She's just waspy witch of the West.
I was watching this movie and I thought, so Marty's unlikable, right? Mm-hmm. And on purpose. Yeah. But then he hired almost the most kind of either controversial or outright unlikable sort of people. Like a lot of people hate Fran Drescher just because of her voice and her persona, right? A lot of people think Penn and Teller are annoying huckster or whatever guys. And I think he curries the like bad boy flair of Mr. What's he called? Mr. Wonderful. Yeah, like he wants people to like, come on, hate me, go ahead. He's like a and he's like, I'm in your face.
Yeah,
I'm this guy. And it's like, okay. So and Abel Ferrara has pissed off a lot of people in this business, certainly. And it's like every curmudgeon and sort of unlikable that he could find, and they're all kind of careening off each other. Mm-hmm. So that part I didn't like. They're like, it was all kind of a grimy world. Like he was a grimy little pimp, and then he brought his girl in on it, and she was kind of like digging being like a grimy little scam artist. Mm-hmm. And then, it's all these pathetic people he's sort of stealing on, like the heavy kid with the ping pong ball dreams and all this stuff. Yeah. And it's all very like lower tier, like he's in a rental room and his bathtub falls through. I mean, it almost has a Damon Runyon quality-esque to it, kind of thing. A crappy little pool hall, a crappy little farm, a crappy little like low-level mobster that's going to stab him and beat his girlfriend up. It has that. It's almost like he's like the up Philip Marlowe, like kind of going through this world.
What did you think of Gwyneth though? I thought she's the femme fatale of the film noir. That's what I'm saying. Like, but she's sad.
She's sad because she's a grimy little one too. She looks pretty and she's golden in the light, but like he sees her in her underwear, and she's kind of creeping around like a creep. Like she's down on his level and she feels like she pimped herself out to this guy she doesn't love.
Yeah.
25, she's married 25 years. She has 25, diamond necklaces and doesn't care about any of it, and is willing to sleep with a guy who she knows is a little dirtbag.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, you're cute and you're skinny. And, it's almost like to get back at the husband, just like, I'd rather go with this guy than you. That's how much I don't like you, And
also Marty just goes around overconfidently trying to charm people. And one of the people he actually can't really overconfidently charm is Mr. Wonderful. And Mr. Wonderful knows that. So at a certain point, Mr. Wonderful makes Marty pull his pants down, and Mr. Wonderful actually spanks him with a ping pong paddle to give Marty the money that Marty needs to play overseas.
Yeah, he debases him completely. And what's funny is on the sort of moral like scope of this movie, and I said a lot of people are sort of compromised. Even the mom is sort of known to be like an emotional gangster with him, right? So he even says like, I'm sorry, I'm from a place where you got to fend for yourself. So everybody's sort of like a mark to me. Remember he says that at one point?
Oh yeah.
So it's like, yeah, like they're trying to say like, don't blame him. Like, look at how manipulative his mother is. He just has to manipulate everybody else. Like, I could sell shoes to an amputee, right? So that means like that's his superpower to get out of the hood, if you will. The tenement building where his whole extended family lives. He just wants bigger, better, world class kind of stuff. And I like that. He like rents the suite and he's very like confident and try to hit on Gwyneth. Like that's when you're rooting for him. He's just like a cocky young man, like about town. He's a little rascal and he's charming, and you see why people fall for his rap, right? But then it gets very sordid very quickly. Like he has a pregnant girl and he calls her like my friend or like my sister, and he lies so quickly. You're just like, oh, this guy's awful. So. Yes.
I thought this movie had.
But Gwyneth.
Please. Yes, please, but Gwyneth.
Yeah. So, but Gwyneth is, again, it's interesting casting because they are kind of commenting on where she is now in her own career, right? And that's sort of a Sunset Boulevard thing where you're like, yeah, we know you, we love you, but you're not the the A-lister you once were. You're not the ingenue anymore. You're the gal that made decisions in life, whatever. And she plays it well. I think she is sad, and I like that performance from her, but I think she's also inherently unlikable. I think people come in with a preconceived Gwyneth Paltrow notion. So you're making a choice. Like, I'm going to pull you out of reality because you're going to see this Gwyneth Paltrow movie star, but it's worth it to me because I want you to see the arc of a star in her fading glory. And I think you will buy into that because A, she's sad, and B, she's kind of pathetic.
Yeah.
So if you don't like her, you'd be like, good, she got what she deserved, And if you do like her, you're like, oh, poor Gwyneth, So that kind of stuff. It's great.
I thought she was good too. I want to skip ahead to the ending for a second because I have a pretty big take on this movie, and it's this. The whole movie, Marty's telling everybody that he can only focus on himself because he has a dream. The dream is to be a big star ping pong player, and he must do everything he can to maintain that dream, and everyone else gets pushed to the side. And at the end of the movie, his lady friend, not Gwyneth Paltrow, the other actress who is on I Love LA, and I'm starting to remember her name, gives birth to his child. And he goes to the delivery room, and he starts weeping tears of joy about the birth of his child, as if somehow he's a new man. He has, he's going to be a father now. He's going to give it all up. The choice should have been an ambiguous crying, the type of crying in where you can't tell if he's glad to be a father or his
dreams have crashed and burned, and he's back where he started.
And
yes.
I cannot believe they didn't realize that. I mean, that would have been such a good ending for that character. More believable, by the way, too, to leave it open to interpretation.
Yeah. Well, more like a 70s movie or something, right?
Yeah.
Like, and I think something that will live on. It's one of those things where think of a joke, like a long joke, and it gets dark. Mm-hmm. Well, when you do that kind of journey, it's because you're almost like pulling the spring back to hit a pow sort of punchline. Mm-hmm. That's why they call it a punchline, right? It's like, what?
Yeah.
So like, I think this movie was pulling back the spring, the bow, like, oh, this guy's such a son of a bitch, and blah 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 blah, and then they, went for the sentimental, like, oh, he reached the depths of his soul, but he comes back, and all is well with the universe, right? I like what you said, which is more, you just hold on that glass, you let him like look at the baby. His eyes well up. He starts crying inconsolably. And you project onto it what you think it means. It was a much more like nuanced ending. So the I love you, all that. I think it's part of they collectively, because it's definitely like a Chalamet decision. Like, no, I want a happy ending. Like, I want it to go really dark. And that's my tonal problem with this movie overall is like, is it a comedy? Is it a drama? There's some very madcap elements, and then something very harsh happens. And I think it's just that thing of like keeping us like off balance. And that part, it doesn't work, right?
They should have given him the 5 easy pieces Jack Nicholson ending but more open for interpretation.
Yeah. A lot of those the ambiguous like ending of the great, like, what do you guys think? Like, walk out of the theater,
There's a lot of dirtbag dads out there. Like, not everybody is immediately changed the second they see their baby.
No,
especially someone like this guy. So I think they could have had a real iconic ending if they had made that weeping more debatable. Like, that
was it. And it was, they had the material. It was just an editorial choice.
It makes me so angry when movies blow it. Yeah, it makes me so angry.
I wish it would have been a little more Coen-esque, and it already is. But the notion of like, let the humor be the humor, and if you want like sort of a more nihilistic tone, that's fine. I think that ending would have stuck that landing as well.
Yeah.
But I want to think like maybe it's the movie star effect. Maybe he's like, no, let me like be a good guy at the end, or maybe they did like 3 endings.
I blame Timmy. I blame Timmy. Timmy's got the power. He's got the power.
Look, he's the Robert Redford, right? So a lot of these guys will take a walk on the dark side, but they want to know that it's a redemption arc, or like they die saving the platoon. Like there's a lot of those movie star sons of bitches that redeem themselves at the end in a spectacular way, and it is about that.
I think he's too young a man. Like, literally, Timothée Chalamet, to have come to that realization. I just think that type of like, because he's not a father. He doesn't know that people aren't immediately transformed by fatherhood, especially if they are crummy people. Like, it's just like usually crummy people make crummy fathers. It's not like.
So you've hit on another thing, which is this is a movie trope.
Mm-hmm.
There's always the cad that comes in the glass, and that breaks the ice or whatever. But the other one that my son pointed out was a lot of media is when there's a separation or a divorce, the sort of big and Die Hard's an example. The bigness of the plot and the sort of plight that they all share somehow fixes the marriage or the rift in the marriage, and they get back together.
Yeah.
And my son was like, well, sometimes the happy ending is like they've figured out like they shouldn't be together, but they're going to be amicable or nice, co-parents, like it always has to be that the rift has been, fixed and back to the nuclear family sort of, classic golden age Hollywood happy ending.
Your son's
right?
absolutely right. The happy ending to Ordinary People is that Donald Sutherland kicks Mary Tyler Moore out of the house.
Exactly. Right. Yeah. So, I didn't like that. I think that's why the guy said it's a good movie. I just don't like it. That's one of the choices. I think you and I saw, and this guy in the restroom saw, there's a great movie in there. Mm-hmm. And it's about 2 hours long. I'll give him 2 hours. Yeah. 158,
I think it's a very good movie that could have been a great movie that could have had an iconic ending that they completely blew it on that ending. But I still like the movie because I grade movies on a sliding scale based on the times. You want to give me this movie in this decade of movies? I'll take it. You know what I mean?
Look, it's original. It's specific. It's like feels like a filmmaker's vision. It's definitely a lot of autobiographical elements in it. Technically great. I mean, I love his like pockmarks and his like little pencil thin mustache. Like it's a good look for him.
Yeah, yeah.
The details are nice. All the clothes are amazing, and the kind of the griminess of 52. Like there's a couple of glamorous scenes with Gwyneth, but mostly it's the sort of Lower East Side of 1952. Almost like an Angel Heart feel, like the clothes don't quite fit perfectly on everybody, Yeah. I mean, look, you can pick apart. There's great. It's going to live on YouTube in like great scenes.
Yes,
but I don't know if it aggregates to like a classic.
Well, I think Timmy's going to win an Oscar. So I think that will up the, because I unless Hollywood for some personal reason doesn't want to give it to him, I don't believe that DiCaprio deserves an Oscar for
my daughter. Well, my daughter thinks that's gonna be the sweeper.
Oh, really? Well,
because of the politics. I mean, a little bit of
politics for. I think for director and movie, yes. I think that P.T. Anderson will get his director, and I think the movie will win for best movie. But I think Chalamet, because also the industry wants Chalamet to be that guy. They want him to be the next DiCaprio. If anything, this would be the decapitation of DiCaprio by Chalamet.
The anointing, maybe,
or the violent takeover.
I mean, that'll be. Maybe we should be doing like an Oscar sort of prognostication.
We will.
In summation, Marty Supreme made me go want to watch Begonia, which is a great film. Okay. So maybe we'll talk about it again here. It's fantastic. It's now on, and full disclosure, I saw it on Peacock. Okay. So like, good on them. Like, I understand that the economics are challenged by closed windows, but I also think for me, I don't know that I would motivate to go to Begonia on the screen.
Yeah.
I wish I saw it on the screen, but I'm saying the marketing's kind of opaque, and it's like maybe, but it's a high reco. Anyway, that's what I think of Marty Supreme. No, I'm kidding. I think Marty Supreme has a lot going for it. I give you that.
If you're going to give a recommendation, I want to give one that's also related to Marty Supreme. There's an excellent actor in Marty Supreme who plays Marty's girlfriend's husband. His name is Emery Cohen. He's a very good actor. And
he's great. Also, I wanted to backtrack. Odessa Azion is the actress.
So her husband in the movie that she cheats on, that actor's name is Emery Cohen. He was in a very good movie that I like called The Place Beyond the Pines, which is not the movie I'm recommending. Yeah. I'm actually not recommending that. I'm recommending Brooklyn. I'm recommending Brooklyn. Oh, okay. Brooklyn's a very nice movie starring, what's her name? Saoirse Ronan. Saoirse Ronan, excellent actress.
Oh, Saoirse Ronan, yeah.
And Emery Cohen plays a very likable character in that movie. And I just think he's a very good actor, and I'm glad that he got that role as small as it was. But yes, I also recommend The Place Beyond the Pines, which also has Emery Cohen.
Okay. Well, join us at Emery Cohen Con. We're going to have...
buy his stock now because it's low.
We're going to show a retrospective of all his films.
Well, he was notorious for playing one of the worst TV characters in history, which was some character on that Broadway show Smash. It wasn't his fault. It was just like a terribly written character that everyone made fun of. So it's amazing that this guy has even managed to become the artist that he is when he was forced to play such a poorly written character in real life.
Well, yeah, that's a thankless job when you play the Joffrey of Game of Thrones. Like you did so well, you're out of business.
Right.
Good job. Yeah.
Okay, guys.
Anyway, on that happy note, Happy New Year, everybody.
Yep.
And we'll see you next time.